Okay, hi everybody. This is a chance for us to learn Gemara again via Screencast. So it's a chance for a personal chavruta with Rabbi Teller. Very exciting. So we're going to learn this next piece. We are actually on Kaf Aleph Amud Bet. You can find that in the corner of your Gemara, Kaf Aleph Amud Bet, and right at the top of the page. This sugya that we're about to learn starts with the word Tana, and it's actually going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines until the word Vishame. So it's a small little piece over here that we're going to be learning together. And you're going to see, as we're learning this Gemara, first I want you to be following along with me in the Gemara that's in front of you and just understanding the back and forth flow of this Gemara. In front of you also, maybe right next to your Gemara, should be your packet, and on the very first page of the packet, you'll see it says General Comprehension, and the first question is, in your own words, summarize the back and forth of the Gemara. So what I mean by that is, I'm not asking you to get a word-for-word translation of this piece, like we did before. You know, we will not have a bid sheet for this Gemara, but I want you to understand the back and forth, like the flow of how this Gemara works. And then in your own words, you're going to summarize it in this box. After you do that, you'll be able to answer some of the questions below. But it's a small piece, so I think we'll be okay. Quick reminder, as you can see from the top, and this was a question on your test, what Masechet are we learning this year? So it tells us over here, Masechet Megillah is what we're learning. We are in the third parak, Parak Shlishi, which the Gemara always indicates in the top middle, and the Shem HaParak, the name of this parak, is still Hakorei Omed. Here we go. Tana. So the first word is Tana. Now we should all know that word because that was on our word quiz. You've studied that word before. Tana means it was taught. Tana, it was taught. So what was taught? Tana, it was taught. Ma she'ein kain batorah. So what are we talking about over here? So if you remember, the Mishnah had said that two people are allowed to read the Megillah at the same time. So if, me and Danny wanted to duet the Megillah this year, we could get up together and sing the Megillah at the same time, and that would be okay. The Gemara is pointing out, Tana, it was taught in a Braita, Ma she'ein kain b'Torah. Ma she'ein kain, we've had that phrase before. It means that is not true. Ma she'ein kain, that is not true, b'Torah, with regards to Torah reading. Ma she'ein kain b'Torah, that is not true with regards to Torah reading. In other words, although the Mishnah said two people can read the Megillah at the same time, it is not true that two people can read the Torah at the same time. Only one person can read the Torah. And the Gemara backs that up with the following Braita. Tanu Rabbanan. So that is another one of our key phrases, our key words. Tanu Rabbanan, it was taught in a Braita. What was taught? So it was taught in a Braita, the following. Batorah, when it comes to reading the Torah, echad korei ve'echad mitargem. When it comes to reading the Torah, one person, echad korei, one person can read it, ve'echad mitargem, and only one person can translate it. Now, you just need to take one step back for a second to understand what this is referring to. Back in the day, when they would read the Torah publicly, in addition to somebody reading the Torah, right, laning it, you would also have a translator standing up in front of the crowd who would actually translate each pasuk by pasuk, into Aramaic, so that the crowd would understand what the reader was saying, which is just kind of cool. It's like almost if you're at shul, someone would lane, and you'd have somebody standing up there to translate it in English, pasuk by pasuk, so the audience would understand it. So in terms of your summary, let's go back. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis learn in a Braita, the rabbis teach in a Braita. But Torah, when it comes to Torah reading, Echad Korei ve'echad mitargem. One person can read it. There's only one person reads at a time, and one person can translate it. Only one person can translate it at a time. Uvilvad shelo yehe echad korei vishnayim mitargemin. What you can't have is one reader and two translators. So the Gemara says you cannot have one reader and two translators. You can't have two people translating it at the same time. And you definitely can't have two readers at the same time. Okay, let's say that again. So again, this Braita taught, Batorah echad korev echad mitargem. When it comes to Torah reading, you're only allowed one reader at the same time and one translator at a time. You can't have two translators. So you couldn't have two people up there both at the same time translating the Torah in English. And for sure, you can't have two readers at the same time. Now, why is that so? Why can you not have two readers at the same time? So if you look at Rashi, Rashi is up here, like we said, Rashi is always in the middle, right? Is the middle two columns. Rashi's on the inside. So Rashi, Dibur Amatchil, Uvilvad Shelo Yechad Korev Shnayim Mitargemin. You can't have two translators. So Rashi first says, V'kol shekain she'ein shnayim korin. For sure, you can't have two readers. Not for sure, you can't have two readers. Okay, but then he says the reason. V'tama. And the reason is, Mishum de Trei Kalei lo mishtamai. Now this phrase you really have to know. De Trei Kalei lo mishtamai, which means two voices are not understood, or two voices are not heard. We understand if one person's talking, I can hear them. But Rashi's giving us almost like a psychological understanding. When two people are talking at the same time, we don't hear it properly. We don't really hear it in a pure, perfect way. So two people cannot read the Torah together because two voices are not properly heard. They're not properly understood. So we can't do that. Let's go back into the Gemara for our last few lines. Uvinavi. When it comes to reading the Navi, so what is it talking about, read the Navi? So it's referring to a Haftorah. When it comes to reading Haftorah, we have a different rule. Echad Korei Ushnai Mitargemin. So still we're only allowed Echad Korei, only one reader. We can still only have one person reading the Haftorah at a time, but now we have a new rule. Ushnai Mitargemin. When it comes to translating the Haftorah, again, if you had somebody up there, the Maturgaman who is translating it, you could have two translators at the same time. You could have two translators at the same time. Why? So in general, Haftorah is not as, I would say, serious. I mean, it's still extremely serious, but it's not as kadosh as Torah reading. So we're a little more lenient. We could have two translators up there at the same time, translating at the same time. Uvilvad shelo yushnaim korin ushnaim mitargemin. When it comes to Haftorah, though, you can't have two readers at the same time. So if I asked you a question, how is Torah reading and Haftorah the same? So Torah reading and Haftorah reading are the same in that you can only have one reader. Only one person's allowed to read those sections at the same time. You can only have one person doing it. The difference is with the translating. When it comes to Torah reading, you can only have one translator speaking at a time. When it comes to the Haftorah, you can have two translators at the same time. And the Gemara finishes as follows. Uve Hallel, Uve Megillah. When it comes to singing Hallel, which we do obviously on Rosh Chodesh and Chag, Uve Megillah, when it comes to reading the Megillah. Oh, our case in the Mishnah. Afilu asara korin ve'asara metargamin. You can even have 10 people reading at the same time. You can even have 10 people translating at the same time. That's wild. When it comes to Megillah, you can have lots and lots of people all singing it together. Why? So that's what the Gemara asks. And this is a key phrase. You're going to see this in your packet. This will be on our upcoming word quiz sometime next week. Mai tama. Mai tama means what is the reason? It's obviously asking a question. It wants to know the reason for a halacha. Mai tama. What's the reason that we can have so many people singing Hallel, like being the chazan for Hallel, or we can have so many people reading the Megillah at the same time? Why is that? And the Gemara says something so fascinating. Kevan dechaviva, since Hallel and Megillah are so beloved, they're considered so special in the eyes of people, right? People love these things. People get so excited for the Megillah because it's only once a year. People get so excited. They love singing Hallel. Yahave datayu. They'll pay extra attention, vishame, and they'll be able to hear it. That's wild. When it comes to Megillah, because it's so chaviv, because it's so loved, people will make sure to pay extra special attention, and they'll be able to hear it. So that's really the end of our Gemara. It gives 3 cases from our Breita. This Breita that the Gemara quotes gives 3 different cases. The case of Torah reading, where you can only have 1 reader and 1 translator at a time. The case of the Haftorah, when we read from the Navi, where you can still only have 1 reader, but you can have 2 people translating at the same time. And then you've got Hallel and Megillah, where you can have even 10 people, even more people, reading it at the same time because it's so chaviv, it's so precious, people are going to listen. So at that point, you now have a general idea of how this Gemara flows. You can try to write a summary in the section, the first page of your packet. And after that, get ready for our next station.